You must release Part 2 within 5 days. The contract is sealed. I do this thing for you, Brimbus Biddlepuss. Oops. Sorry, Dundersnatch.
Well, we follow that Bun only to be confronted with a big shadow monster, and we can't proceed until we've learned how to shoot shit and defend ourselves. So on to Sasha 9's mind to start training. And this is where the reality of summer camp starts to set in after being introduced to our targets.
So tacky. I can't look directly at it, but I control those feelings, focus them, concentrate, and release. And the world is a better place.
Can't blame you, Sasha. Well, actually, our targets are these dudes. But in order to earn our merit badge, we're gonna have to shoot a lot of them. I have no idea what actually happens if you shoot all 1,000 of them, but I don't have the patience to find out. So instead, we crank a lever and all hell breaks loose as Sasha's buried past unravels before us. And this is one of those parts where you get to learn a character's history. He was a son of a cobbler whose mother died shortly after he was born. His father mostly just went through life depressed and unable to move on, and after searching through his father's mind and finding out being able to know people's thoughts might not be the best thing, he leaves home. Every stage of this level represents a time of his life, except maybe this one. I don't know what this one would be about, unless his life took a detour into hell and we just kinda glossed over that. Anyway, after being pushed too far, we end up getting attacked by the Mega Sensor, our first boss fight.
What would happen if you were to, say, completely block off all your sensor outlets?
Well, there would be a buildup of sensor energy within that would, eventually run Rasputin very fast.
He's okay, but the bosses in this game definitely haven't aged well. Even in the late game, the bosses really aren't that hard to fight at all.
So, is this where I get a speech and learn another lesson?
No, here's your merit badge. Let us never speak of this again.
Well, we've earned our merit badge, and after a more revealing trip through our mind, we find out that things aren't looking well at Whispering Rock. There's rumors of a giant fish monster in the lake, one kid is literally brainless now, another guy joined the mafia. It's a bad time for everyone. Things are starting to fall apart, and I don't think the counselors here should be in charge of children. But hell, besides Raz, nobody even seems to notice. Well, I know how you feel, Raz. I've seen plenty of things in the past where something's heading towards blatant disaster, and it feels like I'm the only one who notices. Next up, it's a dance party. You got cool lights, cool lamps, cool shoes, racing, and a totally not suspicious balcony that doesn't lead to a traumatizing past at all. We get to pick up the most iconic power in the game, the telekinesis ball, and go on our way. Well, not before sneaking a peek at somebody's past traumas. From here, the game really starts picking up. Now, this is not a long game, and we've just about hit what I would call a third of the way through, when they take off the training wheels. I'm going to start getting vague about things from now on, because, to put it frankly, I think you should just play this game. Do you like games? Do you like good ones? Well then Psychonauts is for you. Actually, come to think of it, in spite of us being this far in, I haven't much justified my excitement for this game. So let's talk about why I love this game. For one, there's a sense of weirdness and quirky humor to everything. When you try to think of games that are actually funny, they're few and far between.
Let's see what's on the old boob tube. We said boob.
Now, Psychonauts is funny, and as much as I hate when people compare everything to this, there is a similar feeling to what you get watching like a Tim Burton movie. But either way, Psychonauts is weird. It's weird and strange and completely unique to everything else I'm aware of. There are thousands of games out there to pick from, so if a game's doing something I haven't seen anywhere else, that scores big points with me. Secondly is the worlds, or should I say minds. I cannot get enough of the idea of everyone's mind manifesting as a bizarre world where things only kind of make sense. You don't have to be logical in a world made up of somebody's subconscious. You don't have to follow the laws of physics either. So far we've covered 3 of the minds in the game, not counting the weird meat forest. One's a war-themed hellscape, one's a tightly kept cube of order falling apart, and one's a 70s disco party. That's pretty varied, and the variety remains constant throughout the rest of the game. No two worlds are alike or even play alike. Third is the characters. Almost everyone in this game is memorable, and that's saying a lot considering the amount of them. Everyone stands out to one another, and I don't struggle to remember anyone's names or what they're about. Contrast with Halo 4, which I think actually had less significant characters, but I can't remember anything about anyone. Like, I know Master Chief and Cortana, but I can't remember what they actually want in Halo 4. There's this guy, he's called the Didact, I think, but I don't know what he wants either. Who are any of these people? What are their goals? I've played this whole game and I couldn't tell you the characters or even basic plot points if you put a gun to my head.
We gonna get the ice cream, bitch! Mushu big green fuck!
Fourth, as I've talked about, is that timeless sense of nostalgia. Now, I don't know if you've been to summer camp. I have personally, but you know what? Even if I hadn't, this game would still take me back to being a kid. Not because it's about the time when I was a kid, but because the depiction of childhood in this game is authentic enough that it makes me connect everything with my own childhood memories. I can't name another game where that's happened. There's also the music, and most of this stuff is just ambient, but it's really, really good ambience. Like, if summer camp had music, this would be it. There could never be a more summer camp song than this. Now, does that mean that all is well in Psychonauts? Well, contrary to what people will tell you, no. Things are not all well in this game. This game has aged some, and it shows. It still runs fine, but I get a lot of weird bugs. Every time I try to climb a flagpole, the game gets very upset with me. Not to mention I get caught in random rocks very frequently, although to the game's credit, I have never gotten so stuck in this game that I had to reload my saves. But then there's the collecting elements. Now, okay, I love this game, and I have beaten this game. 100% done everything. And like an adventure game, I decided to see how many of the collectibles one could get without using a walkthrough. Well, I was able to do the vast majority of it with no guide, but let's talk about figments. Hey, you want to know the worst part about Psychonauts? Figments. The other collectibles are pretty fine. You know, scavenger hunt items that require you to use your powers to get them, bright purple cobwebs, bags that emit sound so that you know where they are, vaults that run around and are really obvious. Pretty great. Well, check this shit out. A figment is a transparent drawing that represents a figment of somebody's imagination. They're all in a variety of light to saturated colors, which causes them to blend in with the environment. They fade in and out. Some of them move, and they're completely flat, making it hard to see them if you're not looking at them from the right angle, and even harder to try to touch given the lack of depth perception. And the ones that do move can have paths that take them into fucking walls, leaving you wondering where they went. So what do? Oh, you know, they just go ahead and make them the most numerous fucking collectible in the game. There are fucking hundreds of these per level. There's 1,600 of them in the whole game! And if you don't get every single one, it doesn't count as 100% thing. Oh, fuck. So that's when you break out the walkthrough. But wait a minute. With this many figments, it'd be ridiculous to document this all in picture or video. So that means... oh, fuck. 1, 2, 1? What does that mean? Is this page, row, or column? What is it? Oh man, fuck this! And this all comes to a head in the race. Fuck this part. The race is a huge, long section of one level. It is super wide, like 4 different shades of blue, with orange all over. It's all downhill, so it's hard to slow down to collect the figments, and it's got like 15 different branching paths. and some of those paths are suspended bridges with transparent pathway that's a mix of yellow, greenish hues, and orange. Quick, can you see any figments here? Neither can I. And there's almost 100 of them on this one fucking part. And then, of course, you run into the classic problem. One figment left. It could be anywhere on this entire fucking racetrack. Where is it? Where the fuck is it? I had to go through this shit 10 to 15 times just to find this one fucking figment. Okay, let's just go through this scenario one more time, okay? You are scanning an entire, huge, wide racetrack that forces you to go faster than you want with all kinds of crazy color combinations that make it near impossible to see any fine details with like 1 million branching paths to find one single, transparent, fading in and out, desaturated colored, teeny, tiny, fuck-ass fucking picture! Fuck the figments! Fuck them! Sorry. After the race, I basically gave up on not using walkthroughs when trying to get the achievements. My patience has been snapped in half. You know, Psychonauts 2 is being made. Word of advice to Double Fine. Don't put this shit in there. Ultimately, these flaws, especially the figments, make the game not perfect. But for my money, this game gets damn close. I love Psychonauts. And you know what? If I still haven't sold you on this game, then I'd be doing it a disservice by not talking about the Milkman conspiracy. See, this is Boyd, and he's got it all figured out.
I wonder if I'm on camera right now. Huh? What, am I crazy? Of course I am.
He's a conspiracy theorist who's caught in the middle of a conspiracy theory so complicated it's impossible to either understand or constantly contradicting itself and making no sense. Either way, the G-men are out there and they definitely want something. Inside his paranoia-fueled mind, we get probably the most famous level in the entire game. A winding, twisting suburbia that defies any notion of gravity and is oozing with surveillance cameras and G-men everywhere. They're all in disguise, but, well, it's hardly the most convincing.
Stop. Road crew workers only beyond the yellow line.
You guys are road crew workers?
Yes, we work on the road with these red signs.
I see.
I don't even know what to say about these guys. They're just a fucking treat. Just look at them. Just listen to them.
Though I often smell of excrement, I deserve your respect because I provide a valuable service. For the last several years, I have relied on prescription medication to make it through the days. Pies come in many flavors. I wish my loved one was not dead, but alive. Welcome to my house. Please stay and make pie. My stories are about to come on. Someday, the popularity of mobile phones will make my job obsolete. Feces.
So that's Psychonauts, our first game, and one I'm proud to recommend as one of the best I've ever played. Anyone who doesn't give this a shot is doing themselves and gaming a disservice. If you haven't played or heard of this, I'm not surprised. It took them several years to break 1 million copies, and it's mostly spread through word of mouth. But for what it is, there's just not many games out there taking the medium as far as Psychonauts is. Do gaming as an art form of service and buy yourself a copy of Psychonauts. Oh, and yeah, Psychonauts 2 is on the way. It's been crowdfunded and should be arriving in 2018. So let me just take a moment to address Tim Schafer or any of the other devs at Double Fine. If you fuck this up, I will fuck you up. Alright, that's enough for this episode, so let's find out what's up next.
Alright, welcome to our regularly scheduled Wheel of Mystery. Now you might notice that there is actually so many games on here that I cannot see any names of these games, but I assure you they are 100 separate individual games. So, without any further ado, let's find out what's next on the Wheel of Mystery. Cuphead! Hey! Hell yeah! I'll play fucking Cuphead. Hey! I get to play a good game. But will I do the jump dash right?
How's that ass feel?